Welcome, welcome. I got a buddy over here and an absolutely crazy dog, so I won't be camming up anytime soon. I may cam up later, but I'll give you a look at what I'm looking at right now. And I will be back because I think we're going to go out and look through the big one while we can. So, see you in a sec. Hey, Wassa, welcome in. Ed, welcome in. Let's see, we got Dimmy, we've got Gator, we've got Sebastian, welcome in. Cable Company's in. How's everyone doing tonight? We are looking at M51 and apparently a Space Invader. I got a friend over who's camera shy, microphone shy, but we did go out and look at some stars for a minute because Venus has dipped out of our sight. I put the lens cover back on so that we can go back out later and take a look at the moon. But the moon's just barely starting to roll into existence. So I'm just going to let this image that we're looking at cook for a while. Yeah, until we get something more interesting and ridiculously expensive, it's going to be a wired camera that goes to a computer. So it's here. It's just it has yet to be software figured out and hardware figured out. I'm not convinced that the GPS did what I needed it to do, but it might be a hookup on my end. So I'll probably play around with that again, maybe tomorrow, maybe later. I might just turn it off and see if the GPS needs to be ahead of the handset. And I think that might be what I did wrong, is I just need to hook the handset into the GPS. And then it automatically gets all that data from that. We'll see. Anyhow. Yeah, I'll figure something out. Yeah, I got two of them out there. That's what you're looking at on either side of what we're looking at through the little one. That big scope is outside right now. It's hooked up to a Milwaukee battery on a small inverter. And I do not have the battery backup on the little scope right now, so it's potentially going to be a short stream because of that. Because, you know, it was extra stuff I had to deal with. I didn't have it in me. By the time I got the scopes all out there, that was like a whole nother piece of the puzzle I didn't want to mess with. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured too. I'm not doing anything. The motor's not running. It's just plugged in. It's running the handset. But I think I am gonna shut it off and try hooking up the GPS, and then use the GPS in line with the handset, because I think that's the piece that I wasn't comprehending. So we'll see. But at this time, we're all full manual on the big telescope. So. And I forgot to turn off the red dot again. I did have to change the battery, so, I mean, go figure, it's 2 years since it's been used, so. Yeah. Imagine that. But I need to turn off the red dot finder, and yeah. The moon's coming out bright. Like crazy bright. We will probably be seeing shadows on those telescopes. I pretty much only have the telescopes in view so that I can monitor whether anybody's messing with them or if any cats roll through here. I did have a cat sighting. It was kind of hilarious when I was setting everything up. There was this one cat just watching me do it. Good morning, Sabine. Hope you're having some nice coffee. Ed, I believe, is in, what, Minnesota? Yeah, one cat. One cat in that frame, but there were two other ones watching me. Yep, that one just felt like posing. He was a poser. Poser kitty. No, I have no idea why the cats watch me. Why do they watch me, Dimmy? Tell me the story. Tell me anything you want. I'll probably believe you. I'll most likely laugh. Are they trying to adopt a new cat lady? Because they are fully mistaken. They want to get their Milky Way. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. You're whacked. You're almost as whacked as me. That's hilarious. You a funny one. You is a funny one. Gotta put the cat in there, I forgot. Oh crap. He was on the elevator though. Yeah, that big old scope has been seriously sorely missed. I was doing some massive staggering out there, but you know, that was literally like, yeah, I need the camera on here right now, so I don't have to stagger around the scope. Gotta get that GPS figured out. Once I get the GPS figured out, then the camera is gonna be a breeze after that. Even if we do have to run a ridiculously long cable and snake it through the wall or something. And I could see that happening. I really could see that happening. I have a little plug in outside. It's like, who knows? You just never know around here. This house is not, I mean, you'd think we're rednecks, but really we're geeks. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how that happens. Let's not set up the GPS in the house. That seems like a really silly idea. I should have set it up earlier is what I should have done. Some people just can't even. But yeah. I gave the dog a knuckle sandwich. And, well, let's just say you don't hear the dog, do you? Yeah, I was gonna set it up earlier today, but it was about 1,000,000 degrees outside, so going outside was a dumb idea. I was not having much fun out there. It's still pretty damn warm out there.
Yes.
I mean, it got up to what, 91, 92?
Yeah,
I
92.
I took a nap because I'm like, nope, I can't even handle this. I need a
Felt
nap.
like 105 though.
Ooh, gross. Yeah, I couldn't even, so I didn't. Nightbot's trying to hustle some love, guys. So there I was in Ohio trying to look at anything in the sky, and let me tell you, it was a big, gigantic no bueno, which was really sad. The first place we were camping in Ohio had way too dang many trees, which, don't get me wrong, that was awesome because we didn't have any problem finding shade. But the second place, we just had nothing but clouds. So, we kind of got cheesed by Mother Nature on a variety of issues. And PA, luckily, we were able to score an empty campsite, stick the telescope out in a field basically, and got a few good shots while we were there. I want to let this image go for at least another few minutes. I'm going to eventually compile like several days worth of the same thing so that I can get just an insanely good final product of this picture.
Cool.
But I gotta, just get the data, get it all in a big pile. I mean, I do have a bunch of files in here right now.
Have you been following this one for a while?
This is one of the easiest ones to chase down. So,
I see.
right now we're looking at M51. So, I don't know if you can tell, but that's a shite load of files.
Yeah. It's a fuckload.
It's a bunch. So, with that in mind, I could probably get some really good shots from it. And these are just a variety of different ones I've already pre-stacked, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once I get them all put together and learn another processing program, which just mildly terrifies me, but
Yeah.
I'll jump into it one of these days.
That's cool.
Just to basically do some high-tech cleanup. But you have to essentially go through all the files and pluck out all the crappy ones, such as, that
Yeah.
frame there. And just go from there. But there's a bit more to it than that. You have to go through the Morning, Purr. How you doing? But you have to go through a certain, it's a fit file or something like that. And then you stretch it and then you do some other stuff and you juggle some other stuff around. I don't even know how to do it. One of these days I will sit down and take the time to learn it, but it's just kind of like, man.
I see.
Yeah, early mornings for you guys. It's late at night for me. By technicality, it's even later because I'm still messed up on Eastern time. I have yet to. Yeah, I 2 weeks and it's just like
Yeah.
that and eating. Oh my goodness, I've done nothing but eat for 2 weeks. Eat and sit around. We really should have hiked, but we did not. Hey, welcome in, Just One Sue. Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out. I was watching it outside when I was out there. It hasn't quite cleared the trees here, so once it does, then we'll have to have a look at it. So if anybody missed the pictures from earlier that I dropped, they were just literally cameo shots of the telescopes in my garage. Just to give you an idea of the actual size difference of the two. And they were both at their lowest levels, so they were in their compact sizing. And yes, they are both mostly functioning. The big one still has, What did you do to your arm, Sabine? I've been missing you guys. Missed pretty much everybody except for a very few live streams while we were on vacation. We had connectivity problems initially at our first Pennsylvania stop, and then we had great communications at our second one. Oh no, Sabine. That's not cool. Well, I'm glad it's doing better, but surgery doesn't sound fun. Tell Nurse Bax to kiss it all better. Oh no. Not good. That hurts. Yeah, Xena had a good time. She definitely, she took the chill pill of all chill pills, no lie. She was so mellow. She spent as much time in the camper laying on the bed as possible. We try to, you get her here, and all she wants to do is go outside and sit on the grass. You get her outside at the campground, she'll sit out there for a little while, then she's like, nah, I want to go lay inside under the air conditioning on the bed. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
we're camping, Fu Manchu. You have to do the camping thing. She slayed her cot. Yep, she slaughtered the cot. It was basically something of a design flaw. It was getting older anyway. It was kind of beat up. And the newer models are riveted where the model she had was welded and the weld broke. So,
I see.
sad face. We made it work until the last day. It's still in the truck, but yeah, it's broken. It's broken. It's a sad, sad broken cot. Huh, you broke your bed, dope. See, I bought her a new
Oh yeah. Nice.
poofy bed.
Looks comfy.
Welcome in, Lucy. I think almost everybody in here knows everybody. That's the funny part. I suspect Sweet will roll over when she gets a minute. Unless her stream's still going, and I don't know because I had to bounce out. My computer was being not too kind to me and kicked me out of my own dang chat. So, yeah. Welcome to my tech support hell. It'll happen. Oh, okay. Wow, we made it for a full hour on this one. I'll have to pick up the tail end of it then. 'Cause I missed the one that you found all the craziness going on in. That was a cool short you did though, Dimmy. I'll have to fill my buddy in here over at the house what I'm talking about, but yeah, that was whack. Xena. Oh, no. At least she's having a good time. That was cool. Alright, let's look at... I want to look at a target that was suggested by another site that I follow. And I'm certain it's available. And it's going to be basically these two, M81 and M82. So what I want to do is I want to frame it in. I should probably just go about it. Now we'll go from this way. We should be able to see that okay. And it might end up being a little bit funky because of, I have a bunch of neighbors with lights on. Really? Maybe our weather will straighten out then, huh? That'd be nice, Sabine, I'm telling you. Alright. So we want to get both of these in this frame. Oh, thank God. We need a break. I mean, they need to start doing all the modifications that they've been doing. It's getting a little old.
You can already see it.
Mm-hmm. Those are fuzzy blobs that you can see on a clear, dark night
Yeah.
immediately. Like, you can at least see the cigar galaxy because it tends to be visible. Look, we already got an alien invader.
Yeah.
Satellite aliens.
There's so many of them.
Oh yeah, like we were talking about before we went outside. It was like you go outside and you're just sitting there and you're watching satellite after satellite. That's what Beth and I were watching in Ohio. We were
Yeah.
just like, what's that? Another satellite. What's that?
Yeah.
I think that's the ISS. What's that? Another satellite. It was crazy. I mean, they were just buzzing all over,
Yeah,
and
they-
not in any particular direction.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just like
they're going everywhere.
it was wild. I don't know how many we saw in just a really short amount of time, but it was a lot of them. Got my little planets over here.
Uh-huh. I like it. It's cool.
It's not supposed to be flashing though. It's just supposed to be doing that. There we go. Now it'll just cycle. Alright, good night, sweetie. You have a good night. Kick ass, take names in the morning. Yeah. I'm already tired of this swamp ass. It's stupid. It's very stupid. Okay, Dimmy. Since you pay attention in class and Gator doesn't, do you know what we're looking at? If you can tell me one of them, I'm cool with it. Take a good guess. Uh-oh. Good guess, Gator. No, 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 no. No. Okay, so on the left is Bode's Galaxy, which is M81. The one on the right is the Cigar Galaxy, which is M82. Yeah, that one. Yeah, you were kind of in the right neighborhood there, Ed. Almost. Sort of. Ish. You were off. You were off, all right. Half a bubble? I know, right? What are you doing, doggy? Where's your ball? Where is your ball? Go find your ball. Yeah, there's several of them around here. There are several of them around here. It's on the right hand side. That's the name of the galaxy. It's an edge-on galaxy, so it's actually, if you have a good dark sky, you can actually see that through binoculars if you know where to look. And here, I'll show you where to look. Yep. And that's where you look. Y'all can find the Big Dipper, I'm sure of that.
Why does that bear have a tail?
That is the handle of the... Yep, Big Bear.
You see the tail though, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a foxtail.
Yeah, you know. Doesn't mean they're overly accurate on, you know, how they put stuff.
How they depict.
Yeah. So there's the Big Dipper, and if you just go to the right of it, there's where you're gonna find what we are currently looking at right now. So in theory, with what we got going on out there in the big telescope, if we had slightly better skies,
Mm-hmm.
we should be able to pick those out.
Yeah.
We'd have to do a little star hopping, but
Yeah.
we'd be able to do it.
It's a good suggestion.
Mm-hmm. I got that from Night Sky Voyager. I was watching his video the other day, and he's got some great content. I absolutely like that guy.
Cool.
Shout out to Night Sky Voyager. Should grab his link real quick and throw it up in the chat.
It's a good girl. It's a good puppy. She can be nice.
Sweet, still going. Oh, this is gonna take a minute. Not like I have any subscriptions or anything, you know? All right, I'm back. I'm going to change the locations of what the cameras are looking at here. And howdy. Dog was pretty good around company, which is a bonus. She needed to be. I need to make some coffee, so stand by for a sec. Thanks, Gator. It's very dewy outside. Very dewy. So everything is becoming unclear. The moon is very bright. The sky is really turbulent seeming. There's just a lot of humidity. Lots of humidity. Alright, we got coffee a-going. We got M81 and M82 coming in for us. We have limited battery life. So I'll probably cut this off at about the 2-hour marker. Just on account of. So I guess I still need to do some technical stuff on the other scope. Get that GPS figured out. It's literally probably a user error, and I'm not even gonna lie. It's been a long time since I've even had that thing out in a while, so it is what it is. And then once I get the GPS functioning, then next up will be the camera, and we'll see what we can pull in with that thing. I was hoping to catch Jupiter, but Jupiter dipped before I even got a chance to get outside, so. Jupiter's not going to give us the show it wants to give others. So. It was fun while it was here, though. And Venus was certainly cool to at least look at. Yeah, I was muted when he mentioned that, however. I had a moment there. It's all good. It's all good. Xena, stop it. Welcome in, Sir Speedy Steve. We are looking at M81 and M82 on Too Bright with the Moon night, but we're looking anyway. Because the moon is still not high enough to sneak up on some trees that are near. How are you tonight? We're just here kicking it. I had my other telescope out for a little while tonight, was looking through the eyepiece, doing some random technical support, failing at my own technical support. You know, stuff. I know, 81 and 82 are beautiful. Don't even start with me, dog. Alright, give me just a second. My dog has been cooped up in the house for a while because she has a habit of trying to run away. So So stand by. I'll be right back. I'm going to take her outside and I'll be right back in. They're cute, but they're feral. It's pretty much hanging out where the other telescope was hanging out earlier. It's out there chasing fireflies, being goofy. I could have probably framed this up a little bit better, but hey, it's not too bad. I can see the moon's definitely starting to affect the shot. Oh my goodness, these cats are just super curious. That's the main reason I was working on putting the longer legs on, because I don't want them that close to the optics. But with the other telescope, I was kind of rushing a little bit, so I didn't want to set up the polar mount. I went pretty low tech tonight. Everything was alt as. But we're still having fun anyway. As my battery ticks down. I even charged the backup battery. It's all charged up and everything. It's just, I do not want to put it on. We got another cat roaming around. Same one, I think. Yeah, it's the same one. Poor Jeff Pelham's missing all the kittens. They're super cute too, Demi. I've seen them in the daylight, and they are super duper cute. They look like they're tuxedo-ish, but I know they're straight up ferals. There's so many strays around here. They're wild. They're definitely wild little cats. I am too. I'm very allergic to cats. And I like them a lot too, so that's a tough thing. I had a cat for a very short amount of time, and basically when my allergies told me, nope, you can't do this, I found somebody to take it in. And I had taken it in for that matter, so it is what it is. And that was a tuxedo cat. She was cute. She was crazy. She was not ginger cat crazy, but she was close. There's a couple of rowdy gingers around here too that are rather hilarious. Yeah, I'm totally a fan of the tuxedo cats. They're super adorable. They're super adorable. So Xena very much took advantage of going out, doing her business quickly, and coming in and curling up in her bed. And she's a happy little dog. She had some company. She got a cow knuckle or cow kneecap or something like that. They're ultimately very stinky and very attractive to her, so I just let her chomp on it until she's tired of it, and then when she's tired of it, she'll quit chewing on it. So I'll be disposing of it later, but there's literally nothing but bone left, so she chewed all the good stuff off it. But they're super stinky. Oh yeah, it totally cleans her teeth. I'm sure it totally helps clean her teeth, but it also keeps her entertained for quite some time. So these are the little lenses I was using on the bigger telescope. This is a 9mm, which is the higher magnification. Seems backwards, but it's not. And then a 25mm. This is pretty much your starter lens when you're setting everything up, so that you don't have to mess around with a bunch of stuff. Get everything centered and on par. And this is kind of funny because literally I haven't used this telescope in over 2 years. I put all this stuff together and put a battery in the finder scope because I knew I was going to need one anyway. So I put a battery in the finder scope, go out, look at Venus through the finder scope, look through the eyepiece, and it is smack in the center. So I did something right when I didn't mess with any of the knobs and things on the finder scope, because that takes a few to get locked in. The focuser is working nicely. It's a little rough because it's new, but it's certainly much more smooth than the last one was, because the last one was so shot. It was so busted. So sad. But it took a tumble. My whole telescope took a tumble because of my other dog, because I was not cautious and put the dang thing away. Let's just say we have not made that mistake with this dog. She went outside for a quick second while both of the scopes were still in the garage, but she was not allowed to get very close to either one of them. And when she got close to the big one, I'm just like, no. I took the tube off, put it away, and I don't feel so uncomfortable leaving the tripod up. But I do have an issue with her with the tube up because it makes it a little more tippy. So. And that is quite seriously what happened to the other one. It was put in a corner where it should just never have been anyway. And the dog wrecked into it and knocked it over. And it was still, everything was as I just brought it in. And so when I had help bringing in all my stuff, guy's like, well, aren't you going to just carry it in as one piece? And I'm like, not this time. A, I'm getting too old for that. And B, this way I know I'm putting away the tube in a safe place. So I just put the tube right inside of the case. It needs to dry out. So it'll dry out as much as it's going to dry out in there anyway. But yeah, so I've learned my lesson after one tipping incident. I mean, there is a dent on the scope somewhere. I can't remember where it is, but I know there's a dent on the scope. And I was worried that the mirror got messed up, and the mirror didn't get messed up. I do want to check the collimation on that because I never ever collimated that telescope. And it still looks really good. I suppose I could probably fine tune it a little bit, but it's never ever been done. So, test out the new gizmo. The dent is on the other one from when it went splat. I can't even blame it on the dog. It was my own fault because I didn't take it down. Yes, the dog assisted in knocking it over, but yes, I left the dang thing out for her to do that to it. So, my bad. And that was why that focuser needed to be replaced, because of how it landed. It landed in a fashion where I had it at the sweet spot for focusing in on Jupiter with a certain lens. I had the lens in there. I had a lens cover on the lens. I had the cap on the end of the telescope, so essentially it was just as if I was not outside, but it was. And yeah, whoops. But it's because the way I used to bring it in, I'd just hustle it in the door all in one piece. But I also ran a cord to it, so it wasn't as big of a deal as running the battery over there and, you know, the extra stuff that I had going on out there. But I also prefer to level it without the tube on it. It's just a little easier. You have a little bit less mess around when you're leveling the tripod without the extra weight on it. Like Tiny's not in Tiny's normal spot. Tiny's just in a spot that I selected based on where the other one was. And they were still farther apart than I thought they were in camera view. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have to change that up a little bit. So Tiny looks extra tiny, and the cats probably look extra big. It looks like there's one off in the distance eyeballing it. I could be wrong. But I think there is one still looking at it. They're crazy. Tiny's being quite a little power hog tonight. So just for the record, that other telescope is about 13, 14 years old. The GPS is the only really new component on it. the handset had to be replaced because I literally wore out the original handset. And when we went through all of those firmware updates, we still had the old handset. That was the one that we needed the serial controller for, but it is still non-functioning. It's still doing what it wasn't doing before, or not doing what it wasn't doing before, which was when you're using the controller, it's almost like a joystick, but it's not. It's just buttons on there. So you can go up, down, left, or right. And the down didn't work. So I basically lived with that for a little while until I got a new handset by manually just pushing the tube down. Because the mount on there is just on one side. So it's not like you have to battle a lot of resistance. It's just on like a belt control. And yeah. So it was pretty simple to make it work, but you'd always have to push it down a little more than you needed to, and then you could just raise it up with the button a little bit. But once we got a new controller, that problem was solved, so I didn't have to deal with that anymore. But without having the GPS, a lot of times what I'd end up doing is I would just go manual, like, which is what we were doing tonight. So I did hook it up what I think now to be the correct way, and I can stick just the tripod and the GPS and whatnot outside and see if it actually locks in on my location. If it locks in on my location, then problem is officially solved. But if it doesn't lock in on my location, then I'm going to scratch my head a little bit and go through some additional tutorials or something and see what I've missed. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to plug in my GPS coordinates every single time I move the telescope, which is super annoying. Ran into some location stuff when we were up in Pennsylvania too, because it was like my phone was picking up one GPS location and my tablet was picking up something else. And since I was running off the tablet, I know, right? So yeah, basically what I ended up doing is I bypassed the system and I just went manual. So essentially it's a motorized telescope with no brains at that point. You have to know how to star hop a little bit, and that's why we were just peeking at a couple of stars here and there. We basically looked, I can show you what we looked at, because it's not really far from what we're looking at on this telescope right now. So what we were looking at was the we were looking at this star in Ursa Major. Yeah, but it's tricky because you have to use the finder scope to find what you're looking for. So it's called star hopping. You find what you're looking at through the finder scope, then you look at it through the main scope. And if you're looking for a specific point, basically to look for, sometimes that's a little tricky. But in that telescope, once I get everything all locked in and everything's doing what it's supposed to do, it has a lot of the same features that the Seestar does. It's just a little bit more, I'm gonna say slightly archaic, because it was very old. It was a super cool technology back when I got that telescope. I'm quite certain that the Seestar does a better job at it. But it has in it, you can literally point it supposedly. Uh-oh. Maybe Elon's having problems. You can theoretically point it at 3 different stars, not knowing what those stars are, and it should be able to check the field around and say, okay, this is where you are, this is what you're looking at. So it can kind of auto align. Now that's the same with the sea star. So when you're doing a polar alignment, so if I have the bigger mount out and everything else, when you're doing a polar alignment, you essentially tell it to go look at the North Star. And you have to aim for that based on what it says in the GPS coordinates that you fed to it. So you have to have your phone or your tablet or whatever right there when you're doing the alignment, because you have to see what you're doing, because that's pretty much your feedback. But it's nice to have all those extra features in there so you can literally just, plate correct what's out there, because, I mean, a very large portion of space has already been pretty well mapped. They know what's out there, they know where it is. And so your computer in your telescope does most of the heavy lifting. So a lot of purist astronomers prefer having a completely non-computerized go find it sort of scope, so you learn your way around the sky. But at the same time, that's kind of frustrating when you go outside, it's not 100% perfect sky, and you're trying to find, I don't know, the Big Dipper, and you can't even find the Big Dipper. That was what we were running into. That was pretty much why the telescope, the big one, came in, is because it was 100% covered with dew, and you can't really see anything but like a couple of very bright stars. Everything else was very washed out. It's getting so humid out there, it's ridiculous. But I think what they call it in the sea star is plate solving. So it pretty much looks at a point in the sky and says, okay, well, I think this is what's that. And then it looks at another point in the sky and says, I think that's what's that. And then it looks at another point in the sky and says, okay, I know where I'm at. But it's already got GPS coordinates into it, so it knows where it is on the ground. Once it sees what's in the sky, it's able to figure out the rest. And that's pretty much what the Celestron has going on too. So if you know what stars you're pointing at, it just makes it quicker. So I usually pick a couple of really bright ones. And the other thing is, you want to make a pretty good sized triangle. You don't want to pick all 3 of Orion's belt stars and call that a good alignment. It's going to be kind of a meh alignment. So for example, if the summer triangle was directly overhead, that would actually be a pretty decent 3 stars, as long as they're not too far up so that the telescope's hitting the mount. And yeah, that can happen. So you do have something of a range problem with an Alt-Az setup, because if it's trying to go straight up, that tripod's in the way. So there are some limitations. There's limitations with everything. But there's still neat stuff to be seen. So I'll keep looking. Oh my gosh, my battery is getting low out there. Okay, give me a 1 if I should go put the battery on. Hi, Susanna. Welcome in. So give me a 1 if I should go put the battery on and give us another little bit of time. Or give me a 2 if everybody's tired and wants to go to bed. Because the battery is charged, but not the one on the telescope. I just need to add it. See, it's gonna yell at me now. A lot of it has to do with that dew heater. If I didn't have to run that, it would go quite a bit longer. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, how about this? I will end this imaging session, but I'm going to go grab the telescope and put the battery to it and then process the images. Because that sounds fun anyways. So give me a sec to go get it and I'll hook up a battery to it. Stick it in the garage and let it dry out. Be right back. Welcome in, Robert. You missed most of the shenanigans, I suppose. Not entirely. Let's see. I need one. Do we have any alien invaders in this one? I don't really recall. There's one. Alright, let's do on minus. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a long one. Let's see what happens. Cue the Jeopardy music. Sometimes the long ones are the good ones, though. I mean, there's just so much going on that needs to be covered or you feel like wants to be covered. I kind of went ninja style this evening. My buddy came over and we were looking through my other telescope. So if you go like to the very beginning of the live, we were actually playing around with a eyepiece and stuff. But I was also having some issues with that. We were just doing some star hopping and checking a few things out. I was looking at Venus when I first took it out there. And it'd been so long, it was super exciting just to look at Venus for a minute. So I'm sure there will be more occasions for me to pull the scope out get a better view. We did get a camera for it. So once we get the little weird bugs worked out, then we'll move from there. Let's see. Man, I'd love to see a forecasted night of good weather, clear sky, when it's not a friggin' full moon. I've had nothing but heavy on the moonlight nights. And every time it's been less than a quarter moon, yeah, it's like 300 and some odd. It's a bunch. I'm not doing any more than what we did tonight, though. It's just tonight's shots. It is just super sticky out there tonight. It's still pretty warm. .78 at 1 in the morning. It's like, seriously, man. Oh, the clear? The clear part would be nice. It's just thick. Air conditioning is just on jam mode. Go gadget air conditioner. Kitty. Okay, I'm gonna let it do its thing for a minute. Keep track of the kitty cats, and I'll be right back. It's a getting there. Any more cats? I need more coffee. I'll just go with a half cup so I can slam it faster. So I guess Ed has about another week and a half or so of vacation available. So we're going to try and work out a time that is midweek. Probably like, seriously, like a Tuesday or something. We'll show up at the campground at the Dark Sky Park here in Illinois, which will be nice. But I would like for it to be either July or August. I don't think July is going to be possible, but August is certainly possible. And I'd like to get some imaging done there. If we have any kind of decent night skies, then less weather. Last few times we've gone there, it's just rained and rained some more. So, you know. Got some cool rainbow footage anyway. Yeah, I know. He was able to roll over a bunch of time from last year. Last year we kind of didn't do a whole bunch because he was working a ton. He spent a lot of time in Seattle and all that stuff. So between all of the long trips that he had, basically some of the weekends he was able to roll into comp time because he was there for an extended amount of time. And then I think he just had a bunch of leftover vacation from last year, and they let him roll over most of it, if not all of it, I don't know. But he still has some more time off to take. And yeah. Woohoo! Let's see what we got here. Wow. That is crap. Alright then. We're not running with that one, that's for sure. It basically wiped out M82 altogether, so back to the drawing board. Bummers. Let's see if M51 turned out alright. That one at least I have a little bit more hope for. I just can't go too far back in time. We'll just do this one session. Man, look at all the satellites in there. Crazy. Anime, welcome in. I'm just looking to be stacking an image here in a minute, Anime. And although it's kind of boring, it's also kind of cool. So you're looking at kind of the most raw of raw. And all of these will end up being stacked on top of each other. So these were from the other night, and you can see there's a totally different orientation. But I was also viewing these with the other mount, so that could very well be where the problem was. Hey, sweet, welcome in. So we'll let those stack for right now. How's everybody doing? I guess you guys had a good one over there, Chris. Yeah, I bet it was hot. It's snotty hot here. I brought in the other telescope because it was totally covered with dew. If you go back to the very beginning of this live stream, I pretty much had both of my scopes outside for a while, and I wasn't on cam because I had a buddy over here that's kind of camera shy, so I didn't cam up, even though he's like, yeah, I don't even turn the camera on. I'm like, all right, fair enough. I can do that. Gave him heads up when I was going to have a hot mic. Yeah, we didn't actually look through the camera or anything on the other scope. We were just literally visually viewing. And I didn't quite get the GPS to work correctly yet. So I didn't have... It wasn't 100% awesome, but I did get to go out and look at Venus for a couple of minutes before anything major got started, before I even took the little scope out there. And I figured out a few things, but I still have to figure out the GPS yet. It'll happen. I'll figure it out. I just had to do some head scratching and thinking a little bit, but it's like I think it's the way I had it connected. I think the way I needed to connect it was GPS and then handset, and then it should have worked because it literally forces the GPS through the handset, or vice versa, the handset through the GPS. And I think that's what I did wrong. So I'll take it outside, maybe even later. I don't know. The moon's finally starting to come out to where I can see it. All night it was not. It was just basically ditched behind the clouds, or behind the trees. Venus was beautiful. I missed looking at that thing through an eyepiece. It was very beautiful. Sweet, I hope you sent that one picture to Jeff. I texted you a picture shortly after your live went live, so you could send it to Jeff. It's funny. It was a strawberry moon, and that's why there's, like, the last image that I tried to process was bunko, but, I mean, I get it, kind of. I think I tried to combine too much stuff. So, yeah. I didn't want to go into a mosaic or anything like that. I just wanted to get both of those nebula in there. And, well, or galaxies, excuse me. And we were looking at them, but, yeah, the picture did not do me any justice. I might just have to mess with it a little more. Not go back any further in time. Because I think it freaked something out. I don't know. But we looked at M81, M82, and M51 tonight. And I personally looked at Venus and a few other things through the big giant lens. Wasn't that giant. I didn't get too technical. I took the basics out. I literally took the stock lenses that came with the telescope out there with me, and that was all I took out there, because I didn't want to get too super technical. But I had to do everything manual because, like I said, the GPS did not do what I was expecting for it to do for me, so had to go back to the old ways of actually star hopping and looking for stuff. And that is fun. I enjoy doing that. I did a heck of a lot of that when my I would just go out and go manual, because sometimes setting up the telescope was more of a hassle than it was worth. Yeah, he'll get a kick out of that. That cat was funny. It's just like, oh, how you doing? I walked all the way around him to get a good shot of him, too. And he's just like, yep, I'm just checking out the telescopes. We had kitten views. We had kittens screwing around while we were viewing. It was funny. It was an interesting night, that's for sure. Yeah, there was one before the stream actually started that I took a picture of. Just literally went out and took a picture of. And then there was another cat, which I cannot identify whether it was the same one or a different one. And then two kittens. So, yeah. Crazy. We always see cats around here. They're strays. They're rowdy. They're kind of hilarious. I don't know. I wasn't keeping track of aliens tonight. Dimmy called the kittens aliens, so I mean, you can call the cats aliens. Aliens or cats. It's all the same to me. We could just like put up an arbitrary number every night and probably not be off too far. Yeah, we don't have Aquadonkey in here, up in the alien count. Although I did see something that, if I was going to call it anything, it looked like an apparition, and that was after the telescope was in the house. So, I mean, it was very strange. It was where the telescope would be. And yeah, it was weird. Dimmy saw too? Alright, we'll throw in some aliens just for good measure. There we go. Rich Martinez, welcome in. We're actually just developing a series of images. I do not remember how many it was. Does anybody remember how many it was? My attention span went kind of sideways on me. Yes, I do. I do indeed use the Starlinks. Actually, sweet, not usually. Very rarely do we have any buffering problems here. Oh, dude, Rich, it's like home sweet hell. It's like a bazillion degrees. Out of the campfire into the incinerator. It's nuts around here. It's so hot. I'm sure it's hot there, too. Tammy was telling me that it's real hot in PA, too. It's like being in an unpleasant sauna that smells like grass. It's kind of gross. Oh, yeah, it was like 92 here. It was gross. Sweet, how long you gotta ride that contract out? Oh, dang. I would love some rain right now, although my grass is like, it needs the Rich Martinez touch. Like, it got mowed twice while we were gone, and it basically looked great the day we got home, and it already looks like I need a couple of goats just in 2 days. It's nuts. How's my lovely Ivy doing? She's snoozing, I presume. Oh. Yeah, I need some goats, seriously. Hey, if my idiot neighbors can have huskies, why can't I have goats? I think that's fair. Oh, we might have another cat sighting, guys. I honestly think it's one of the kittens, too. Let's see if I can find it. Kitten alert. That's what I'm thinking. That is what I'm thinking. I'm seriously thinking that you could probably send that puck down the road without any issues. And honestly, you could go with like a low-end package on the Starlink too. If you have to write out your thing. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, off goes the kitty. It skonkered off. Crazy cats. All right, Robert, you have a good night. Take care. Thanks for popping in. Cat, you thought it was a planet? No, the cats are on the screen behind me. And the cool stuff, you know. Yeah, that's how we had most of our internet while we were out camping and stuff. So you can just Wi-Fi right directly to your Starlink. That turned out pretty nice for being such a bright night. I'm just gonna have to bring over the mobile so you can check it out. I'm thinking that turned out pretty nice. A little bit blurry, but not terrible, terrible. Oh my god, dude, that was awesome. Rich, we had so much fun. We had such a good time with the donkeys. Those guys are a blast. We absolutely had a blast. That looks a little bit funky, but still looks super cool. Maybe too much, that looks a little more natural. We'll save that. That's a keeper. Yeah, buddy. Edward's good. He is, I think, in Minnesota. I could be wrong. I don't know where the hell he is most of the time. He's doing the thing. Doing the wonderful thing that he does. Yeah, what I should have done on that is I should have... Here, I'll show you what we were looking at earlier. This is what we were looking at earlier. This is M81 and M82. But my image of this turned out like poop. So, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, that steak we had with the donkeys was amazing. We ended up finishing up off the tail end of it for our last breakfast on the way out of Ohio. Yeah, one of these days, Rich, I'll actually get a good shot of both of those. It was a very bright night tonight because of the moon and everything. Like, I could probably cast a relatively decent shadow outside right now because I suspect the moon is... Oh, yeah. Like, here, I'll just give you an indicator here. That's a light post that is not far from where I usually have the scope anyway. So yeah, that's full moonlight. That's nothing else. Meanwhile, I'm just one big freaking ray of sunshine, baby. I think, um, I think Sandy gave me this suite. I mean, it's right up her alley, for sure. It ain't wrong, though. So there's that. Let's see what else we got up to this week. I like that. That turned out pretty groovy. But this is what we were looking at in PA. That's the Dumbbell Nebula. And it wasn't a really long exposure. It was just... We had beautiful skies there. That's the Fireworks Galaxy. However, it was obviously being heavily invaded by satellites. I did post one up on my community wall of this as well as this one. Probably more like that. And that's the Pinwheel Galaxy. M101. But yeah. Yeah, so that wasn't a really long exposure. It's just one of those that you can actually go out and almost see with a really low magnification telescope, or sometimes even with binoculars, if they're good binoculars. But that's the same as M82. You can M81 and M82. If you can find M82, you can usually find M81. But I think I'm gonna call it a night. I am absolutely shot. It's too damn hot. And I recommend going to the earlier part of the stream and checking out the other gear. I did put up a picture of both of the telescopes earlier, so you can see kind of the setup I had going on. And yeah, it was a good time. So I hope everybody has a nice, chill, relaxed night. Hopefully the thunder doesn't shake Ivy out of her sleep. And I'm gonna shut this thing down here. Is she already out? Or is she already up? Not yet. Soon. Probably. Is it just getting really loud? Or really close or something? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good thunderstorm, but at the same time, if they're terrifying, they're terrifying. And I've been in some terrifying. Awesome. Go take some video, Rich. I mean, don't play it back to Ivy. She'll be mad as hell if you do. I'd be mad as hell if you do. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. Go smoke quick smoke. And yeah, go to bed. Bye, guys. As long as there's coffee. I mean, coffee's a plus. Tell her to text me when she wakes up. If she wants to chat, I'll yak at her. If I'm awake still. I don't know how long I'll be awake, though. Here, we'll give you scene 24. Here's scene 24 from our film. Okay, it's not from my film, but it's from a film. And I seriously want to go chasing that Eagle Nebula, but I gotta do it in dark skies. The moon will not be a friend to me on that one. So, it is what it is. Eventually I'll get it. I'll get a better shot. Still pretty happy with the one I got, but I'll still get a better shot. Just not tonight. It's not happening. Alright, you guys have a good night. Take care. We'll see you down the road at the next campground or the next live stream. Whichever happens first, which will probably be a live stream. So, ciao for now.